Okay, so these are six links which I've added. Okay, we will do some projects and I'll show you how it works. But I wanted to actually give you these first two links for practice. Okay, so if you click on this, this is from again from our book. Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to practice the charts from this book. So this book talks about different types of graphs for different types of work. So if you are doing comparison, you want to compare, let's say, two different variables or two different process, two different systems. So you can use this comparison method. Okay, and you have bar chart, box and whisker plot. These are the graphs that you will need to perform comparison. You want to show the proportion. Proportion means you want to compare which is larger, which is smaller, right? Let's say you want to see which business segments gives you maximum profit, right? So you want bubbles, okay, or the size of your visualization to be in proportion with the returns, right? So if you see something which is larger bubble, that means that gives you bigger, okay, profit than a smaller bubble, and size will also be in proportion. So if size is double, that means profit is double. Yes. Okay. So you will have proportion, and these are some of the graphs that you need. Okay. Then you have relationship. Okay. This talks about relationship. Okay. So you have to show relationship. You can show heat map, and we will do heat map as part of our work. So we'll see this more. Heat map. Okay. Venn diagram. These are some of the graphs that we do for relationship. Then for distribution, spread. Okay? These are some of the graphs that we do for distribution. Then, you have graphs for, okay, these are the same things from last page. Concepts, location, and these, see, when you say visualization, it does not always means your, plot. It can be anything pictorial that helps to understand the data. Okay. We will talk about pattern, data over time, range. Okay. So these are some of the graphs that we generally use. Now, how do we plot? The next question obviously is how do we plot these graphs, right? There are so many graphs. We need to do that. So of course, we have already discussed few graphs. Okay, the purpose of those graphs. Which all graphs we have discussed? I'm not talking about the simple graphs like bar graph, line graph. Some of the graphs that we have discussed as part of data analysis or machine learning. What are the important graphs?
Histogram, sir. Histogram box plot.
Histogram, box plot, scatter plot. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, these are your important graphs that we
Important
talk.
graph.
Sorry.
Yes, these are the important graph.
Yes, they are the important graphs. And how do you plot it? So the basic library that you need to plot any graph is Matplotlib. Okay, but not only Matplotlib, we have other advanced libraries, which is not part of our discussion, which we are not going to talk about. But I'm going to give you, I'm going to tell you those libraries which are also used on top of Matplotlib. So now you have these exercise, which are simple exercise to see how to draw histogram. Okay, the box plot. Okay, this bar graph. This is also like box plot called violin chart, and this is very much like your box plot. So you have this as handles with the fat tummy that you see. This is your median value. Okay, so this is another way of box plot only. Okay, so this is same as plot. The shape is different. Then you have stacked column chart. Okay, stacked column chart means bar over another, right? So, but about Hyderabad, you can talk about Q1, Q2, Q3, right? So it represents data Hyderabad and three types of data from Hyderabad, right? That's why you see three different graphs here. Then scatter plot. Okay, individually you can draw these plots: pie chart, heat map. Okay, and this is 3D wireframe plot. I wanted to show you that how you can draw 3D as well. Now it looks 3D, but after all, it's only a 2D graph, isn't it? Okay. Then there are some advanced plots. So what you see here, it is a line graph, okay, but you have multiple line graphs in one graph. So if you have multiple values to show, you can draw such graphs. So this is like basic graph, but multiple values in one, right? So, this is one type of graph. Then you have bullet graph, okay? So this shows the maximum value and how much you have reached, okay? Okay, so, this is another thing. So maybe, this bar graph is your revenue, and the line that you see, the bullet goes till here is your profit, okay? So you can draw such graphs as well. So yeah, practice these graphs. These graphs are simple in the sense, a few lines of code and you'll be able to get it. Okay, this is the word cloud. Okay, now this link is not active now. Okay, this link is the one that I've used is not active, but you can take any link. Okay, any website link. It will do the word cloud. Word cloud means words which are getting repeated maximum number of times will be bigger, right? So if you see people and Ojas, these are the names which are appearing more frequently in the article. Text data, it's part of your text analysis. When you see want is appearing few number of times, but it is much less than people and Ojas. Okay, found, looked, these are some of the words that are appearing in the story or in the article. Okay, so this I want you to practice. These are simple graphs. Okay, I want you to practice on your own. Okay. Then I also have given some Kaggle link. Okay, on this site also you have that link on the last page of this book, and I've also attached a separate link for this. So this fellow has compiled 80 different plots. Okay, and he has explained it one by one. Okay, some of these things are like bar graph, line graph, which we have already covered, but there are some advanced graphs as well here. Okay, density curves, joy plot, box plot, categorical plot, right? So please go through these plots. Okay, so if you have interest in doing this, you can go over it. Okay, so this is again additional extra stuff. But when you do this book thing, it's enough. Okay, but if you want to at least know how these plots look like, okay, what is joy plot? So instead of practicing the code, you can actually go and see how the data is represented, so you know what joy plot is. Okay, now this content which I have here is to demonstrate the other advanced packages that are there in Python apart from matplotlib. Okay, so matplotlib is basic. You need to have matplotlib, but apart from that, you have like this talks about tools. Okay, the first part talks about tools. So you have Tableau, Qwilk, Power BI, Adaptive Insights. Okay, these are different tools. Google Charts, Fusion Charts. If you want to plot a map, okay, so Google Chart is helpful. So this talks about common tools apart from Python, and then from here you have Python libraries. Matplotlib we have already seen. Okay, then you'll have Seaborn. Okay, and for our exercise, I'm going to use mostly Seaborn only. So you can see how Seaborn works. You can see the way the output differs. Okay, all these plots will have different UI. The graph will be in different UI. So matplotlib will be very basic. Okay, Seaborn will be little advanced. It will look much better than the matplotlib. Okay, then you have ggplot, which will even make it look even more better. The concepts are different. Okay. So ggplot, then you have Bokeh. Okay, that's another library. You have Plotly. Okay, Bokeh will make it more interactive. Okay, if you move your cursor, you can actually see the actual value. This is scatter plot, and it'll give you both the values, x-axis and y-axis values. You can actually see when you hover your cursor over this point. So that's why it's called it as interactive plot. Okay, and this will not be launched in your PyCharm. It will launch a browser. You can do your code in PyCharm, but when you run it, it will open a browser, and the plot will be in a browser. Okay, then you have Plotly. Okay, you have Pygal, Altair. Okay, these are different examples which I have done because I want you to just know that these are the things that are there. There are things beyond what we learn also there, and you can practice missing number, leather. Okay, these are your plots, and there are many more variation tool. So again, I have actually added these links. You can go and see. Okay, there's something called as selection.datavisualization.ch, and then you have visualization singdata.com resources. Okay, if you go there, you will see there are so many tools for visualization. Okay, the world is like this is so important, right? So yeah, see, there's Circus, Cola.js, Cytoscape, Cubism. Okay, these are these are your different libraries that are there. You can select a tool. Okay, you can practice those. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Okay, most of them are free. Okay, I think this site is not up. Maybe we can try it a little later. Okay, so these are additional content which I want you to practice along when you have free time. Okay, so with that we get into our projects discussion. Shall we go? Any questions so far?
No, sir, not now.
Abhi?
No, sir.
Yes. Okay, great. So yes, so please um, mm, go through these and practice them on your in your when you're free time. Okay, and this need not be done immediately. Okay, you can take your time to do it because
Sir,
this yeah, you're saying
we
something.
need to we need to learn all the advanced packages in what you are shown now.
No, you don't have to. Okay, okay, you don't have to. This is just for your information that these things are also there. Okay, so first of all, knowing is important. That what we learned is not the end, right? There are a lot
Yes, sir.
more things that we need to do. So that is the purpose. Okay, we can't be master. Now, let's say if your work involves only visualization and that too in Python, then slowly you will learn all of these. Okay, but for now, it is to know that there are a lot of things that are there in the market. Okay, and if you can practice, well and good, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of other things to practice than visualization, right? You want to focus on algorithm, you want to focus on some advanced feature of Python. Okay, so that will definitely be your priorities than this. But okay, know that these things are also there, and if if you are very much interested, you can. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about two examples. This is called rental yield analysis and Club Mahindra analysis. I found them very interesting. Okay, and this tells you how to use visualization tool for your how to use visualization tool for your work, for your what do you say, for your if you want to know when to use visualization, why to use visualization, this will answer you. And also what I want you to do is, okay, maybe by next weekend, if you can, meanwhile, we'll finish off our visualization topic. So by next weekend, if you can write an article very similar to what I'm going to show you now. Okay, you can pick anything, you can pick IPL, you can pick uh, any topic for which you can easily get the data from internet. Okay, and create a story around it. So storytelling is very important part of your visualization. Visualization is nothing but storytelling, right? When you why so there are hundreds of graphs, right? But if you have to tell me something, you will not use all the 100 graphs. You will probably use 3 or 5 or 7 graphs to tell me the story. The 7 graphs will tell me story from starting to the end in a fashion which will make me understand. You cannot put any graph anywhere, because then the audience will be lost. Right? Audience will not know what you want to convey. So visualization is very much like storytelling. You have to tell a story. So sometimes even simple graph is more powerful because that can give a message, that can give the message, okay, unlike your big heavy graph. Okay, so look at this article. So this guy is analyzing why he made a mistake by buying Club Mahindra membership. Okay, so this guy talks about why he made a mistake by investing in Club Mahindra membership. So it's not just an essay. Okay, he has taken data to show that. Okay, so he's talking about, Club Mahindra membership features. He's talking about the rooms. Okay, what is the charges of the rooms? Okay, talks about different types of membership here. Okay, then he talks about, the charges that people pay. Okay, then he has used some other concepts like, only 44% of members do not utilize their holidays. So what he's trying to show is that number of, okay, this look at this chart. 2005 there were 28,000 members. Okay, and 2012, and that's the year when this article was written. In 2012 there were only 143 there were 143 members. Okay, so members have increased. Okay, but look at the inventory. Inventory is the number of rooms that they have, okay, which are available for rental purpose. So for 28,000 members, they had 26,000 inventory, 9% less than members, okay, which is fine. But you see here in 2011, the difference went down to 33%. Okay, that means they have not increased the number of rooms in same ratio as number of members. Okay, so 44 people do not even utilize this. Okay, rest 64 people come, but then they always have rights to reject, saying that sorry, we don't have room available. Right? So there's no guarantee that when you take membership, they'll give you the room. You have to pre-book it, right? And what happens in peak time? They'll have very less number of inventory, right? So it will easily go away. So they are available when you don't travel. So this is what he's trying to show. So he's taking all these data and showing that why he thinks that people should not buy this membership. Now, this is his opinion, right? And his data. Okay, this is where, so he has done all these analysis. Then he said this, his story. Okay, so this is what your data analysis. Now, if somebody reads this article, and if they are planning to buy a Club Mahindra membership, they will not buy. They'll stop paying money to Club Mahindra. That's the power of visualization. You can convince someone. Okay, if I have to just argue, right? We can argue on multiple things. I will say it is bad. You will say it is good, and there is no point. Okay, we are just talking nonsense. But if I talk about data, if I show you this data and show you why, that you might not use your membership, okay, you will realize that, okay, what somebody is saying with the proof. Okay, when somebody says with the proof, it has more impact on our decision making and our, on our thinking than somebody just telling us some stories, right? So, okay, so this is one article. Now there's another article here. You can see housing.com article. Okay. Now this guy talks about to invest whether in Mumbai or in Bangalore. So he's comparing the real estate of Bangalore and Mumbai. So let's say, okay, you buy a 1 crore home, okay, and you have 20 lakhs to make the down payment, and rest 80 lakhs you'll borrow from home loan, right? Now, what it talks about is, now, should you invest in city A or city B? Should you invest in area A or area B, right? They are talking about something called as rental yield. Rental yield is the rental value of a house. So let's say if you if you have 1 crore to buy a house, should you buy in Mumbai or should you buy in Bangalore? Obviously, which gives you more rent, right? So that rental yield talks about this thing. Your rent that you are saving, or if you are staying in that house, the rent that you are saving. If you have given it on rent, the rent that you are getting versus the so numerator will be your rent, denominator will be the cost of the house. So higher the rental yield, better is the decision that you have made, isn't it? So this guy talks about all this, formula, how they have calculated, what is rental yield, all these things, okay? And now he's talking about comparing Bangalore and Mumbai. Now you see here. Okay. This guy talks about 6-quarter data from 14 Q2 to 15 Q3. Okay. Lighter the line, older it is. Darker means it is newest. Okay. That's the. So what do you see from here? What is this graph tells you? This is rental yield for Bangalore. So what does this tell you? What is this graph telling you?
Quarter by quarter, the rent is increasing.
Rental yield. Okay.
Increasing.
So yeah. So with the in 15, you'll see there's a better rental yield than what was in the 14, right? Even if you see the darker. Okay. Now this tip is your average rental, right? Okay.
Mm.
Because this is normal data. So normal data will have mean, median, mode at the same point, right? So this is the average rental yield. And what is the average rental in Bangalore in 2015 Q3? So it is probably about 5 or 4.5 to 5, correct? And it was probably around 4 in 2015 Q2. So it is increasing over the period, right? The graph is shifting towards right. Okay. Graph is shifting towards right. Okay. Every quarter it is moving to the right. And maximum rental yield you can see is about 10. Minimum is in minus also, right? It has gone to negative also. So this is the rental in Bangalore. Now you see, okay, capture this picture in your mind. Okay. And now we will move to our Mumbai data. Okay, so this is Mumbai, same period, 14 Q2 to 15 Q3. Now tell me, what do you notice about Mumbai? And then we'll talk about comparison. What do you notice here?
There is no so much difference by quarter.
Correct. Okay, this is more or less fixed here. Probability is very high. See, the here probability was 0.6 maximum. Mostly it is 0.4, 0.5. Here probability is 0.8, 0.9. Okay, that means this is sign of more stable market. Okay, the rental is almost fixed, which is around what? 3. So rental yield is 3. Every quarter it is around 3. It is probability is high. Okay, there is 10, but not so much. Okay, so mostly it is about probably up to 6, 7, right? Okay, so this is sign of more stable market where rental yield is not increasing. Okay, so how will rental yield increase? Obviously, when demand is more, right, and people are willing to pay more price, rental yield will increase. In Mumbai, it's not like that. Okay, okay, so probably the rent is almost kind of stable here. And if you see the yield, which has the higher yield, Bangalore has the higher yield. Okay, so now if you see, in a way, if you are talking about returns, okay, and if you have 1 crore to invest, it's better that you invest in Bangalore because rental yield is increasing, correct? Than in Mumbai where rental yield is less, right? It's only about 3. But one more thing you remember, Bangalore on the negative side also it goes up to minus. See, this is beyond 0, right? That means you have bought and there is no demand at all. Okay. Okay, there is no demand, and you're paying more EMI, you're paying negative, you're paying EMI and they are not getting anything in return. But in Mumbai, that is not the case. Mumbai, minimum you'll get is about 1, right? Here you can get it negative. Since Mumbai is more stable and almost all the area are more or less stable, okay, even if you buy, you don't have to worry about which area to buy. In Bangalore, you need to know which area is going to give you higher yield. If you get stuck in bad area, your investment totally will be waste. But not in Mumbai. Wherever you buy, you will get some rental income. So the risk is much higher in Mumbai, and that's where benefit return is also much higher in Mumbai. Sorry, Bangalore, right? Risk is much higher in Bangalore, and return is also much higher in Bangalore. In Mumbai, if you are not a risk taker, if you want to, say that, okay, I'm okay to get less return, but I don't want my money to lose, then you should invest in Mumbai. Invest in Mumbai and steadily you will get the income. isn't it? So these two graphs together gives you a lot of information about the cities, real estate market in those cities. And this will tell you when and how to invest, right? And there's some other graphs as well, which talks about this. So something similar, you go and read this. Okay, so this tells you a story about the real estate market of Bangalore, right? Now, same thing I want you to do, pick up a topic, okay? Pick up a topic, you want to talk about IPL matches. So get the data from IPL matches, look at, and again, so because we are going to do 2-3 projects, right? For next couple of days. So you will know,
Yeah.
what all things, graphs, and, you'll have much more uh, uh, exposure than just two. So these two I've given you for your exposure only, okay? So you
Yeah.
get exposure and you see, how people use it, and this is what I want you to do it, okay, and put it on LinkedIn, okay. So it will be a way to showcase that you are learning something new, right? So I'll help you, okay. Write one nice as the article means it should flow, okay. You should have a theme, and everything that you talk about should be related to that theme. Theme could be IPL is making teams richer. Theme could be IPL is making teams or teams losing money, whatever. So everything that you put around that should be indicative to that theme. Okay, so theme is that it is making team owners richer. Then you can talk about number of people that are watching IPL has increased over the period of time. The number of matches that are being played has increased. The revenue from the TV has increased. So all these things will tell you that team is rich, getting richer, right? Okay. If
Yeah.
you talk about getting poorer, right? So you can talk about, let's say, number of people. Though the number of people are increasing, but let's say ticket per person is going down, so revenue is going down, right? I'm just giving examples. Okay, I don't know. I have not done that analysis. So whatever I'm saying is based on assumption only. So you should create a story. When you do 3-4, look at 3-4 data, you will probably understand what's happening and expand that. Create a story. Okay. Story is not created based on one graph or two graphs. Okay. You need to have 4-5 a solid um, data set. Okay. Every point that you make should be followed by your proof, right? And when you are proving, okay, nobody will accept your point of view with just 1 point, 1 point, right? So you have to make 5 to 6 points at least in order to convince somebody, right? So you should have 5 to 7 visualization techniques, or could be table, could be simple calculation as well. Need not be graph, I told you. It could be simple calculation. And you see both housing.com and Club Mahindra, they have used calculations as well, tables also, right? So it's not always a graph only will tell you. Even table can give a lot of information. So use mix of tables, graphs, and create a story. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got you.
So if you want to see this, okay, let's calculate for you looking to, let's say, buy. Okay, and I'll say Hyderabad. Let's see. It has project name also. I don't know. Okay, let's say we put locality as Miapur, right? We all stay somewhere nearby. Let's say we talk about apartment. We talk about 3 bedrooms. We'll talk about 3 bathrooms. Okay, let's see how much it says. So let's say we put 1600 square feet. Balcony, let's say 2. Property age, let's say 10 years. Total floors, let's say 9. Okay, and we are on, let's say, 3rd floor. Swimming pool not there. Okay, it is unfurnished. Facing east. Lift it has. Gym, no. Gas pipeline, no. Cadet community, let's say no. Garden, no. Kids area, let's say yes. Sports facility, no. Okay, now you can evaluate and tell you the cost here. Let's see. And tell me if you guys you accept to what they are talking about. You can even check, Mona Lisa, if you are paying a higher rent or lower rent. Okay.
Mm.
I see. It says your property is about 62 lakhs
62.
worth. I think this is showing less. Property of 1600 square feet will be much higher than this. Okay, so you can actually check and see if you're paying a higher value of rent
Yeah.
or lower value of rent.
Mm.
Cool. Okay, so with that, shall we jump into code?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to yeah, of course, this one has this one. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, okay, so this is the last one, and among from this, I'm going to do only one work in the class. Okay, only one example I'm going to do in the class. Which is for natural language processing, NLP. I'll show you how to do that. But this one talks about pivot, Pareto analysis. Okay, you know what is scatter plot. Okay, what is pivot? Have you done pivot in Excel?
Yes, sir. We did. Like to sort the data.
To sort the data, you can plot,
Yeah.
different.
I can use, yeah.
Yeah, what you call as filter,
Yeah.
right? You can,
Filtration, yeah.
yeah,
You
you
can
can
say.
put different
Filter
filter,
the data.
right? And the advantage is that you can keep changing.
Yeah.
You can summarize the data
Whether
very
we
well
need
with the
data.
pivot. Yeah. So same thing. Okay, this first exercise talks about pivot thing in Python. How to do pivot analysis in Python. Okay. Then you have Pareto analysis. What is Pareto analysis?
Analysis, I don't know.
80-20 rule. Okay, it's called 80-20 rule. So what it says is, 80% of stuff is done by 20 people. Okay, or 20%. Okay, and we'll talk about it. Okay, we'll talk about as we go along. So and I think I've shown you, right? GitHub. If you go to GitHub, Swapnil Saurabh, you have a repository called dataset. Okay, so Swapnil Saurabh dataset. Now this has most of the data set that we're going to do. Okay, so like air passengers will do in later when we're dealing with time series analysis. Okay, then we'll talk about you know challenger.csv baseball. So the one that is shown here for the first example here is baseball logs.csv. Okay, so if you go back to okay, this is the data set. Okay, now what happens? Okay, light has come. Just give me a second. Let me switch on the lights. Okay, so okay, so I don't know why in the evenings I'm not able to see this data. When you open this data, okay, obviously this file is too big. Okay, 21 MB. Okay, it has a lot of data. It has data from I think 1870 to 1920. Almost like all the baseball matches that were played for 40 years or something. So it is quite heavy file. So it will not show you a view here. You have to click on view raw. When you click on view raw, you will be able to see that CSV file. Okay. Sometimes it works. So evenings it works. No. Sometimes it doesn't work in the evening as well. Okay. So see this is okay. This you can see that this is a CSV file. Okay. So you can directly use this to read the data. Okay. So I can show you how to read it. So I'll go to my PyCharm. I'm going to share my PyCharm now. Okay, let it be for now. Okay, so this is your link, right? And you can read the entire link, okay, using, first you need to import pandas. So import pandas as PD. Then you can say data set data df, okay. Df stands for data frame, right? So the pandas will read the data as data frame. That's why we prefer data frame. So data frame data df equal to pd dot read csv. Okay. Now read CSV can read from any location. It can read from your link as well from your local device also. So what I'll suggest you is that you download those data set, okay, in your local drive. It becomes easy for you to, it will become easy for you guys to read this. You can read it like this, and once you read it, you can print the data df here. So how do you print data df? Run this, okay. Okay, it's running different file. Right click and say run. Okay, so it is a big file, right? It has to read from the internet source, and then you can actually see the output here. Okay, so yeah, so see these. So when you have more number of rows, more than five rows, it'll show you first 5 and the last 5. This is the data, okay, a date. Okay, this is the date in numeric format, and this is number of games. And so it will not be able to show all the columns. So see this, it has 45,845 rows and 161 columns. Okay, so this data has 45,000 plus, almost 46,000, right? Almost 46,000 rows and 161 columns. Okay, so let's go back to our notes here or to the browser. Yeah. So if you go here, so yeah, so this guy here, we are reading this same file, and these are the description of the important columns. Date, so on which date match was played, name, venue, visiting team name. Okay, so if IPL match was played in Chennai, okay, and it was home ground for, let's say, Chennai, and Mumbai was the visiting team, so V team would be Mumbai, right? And which league, then home team name, home team league, then visiting team score, okay, home team score, right? Okay, so these are different information that are there. Attendance, how many people were attendant, were there in that stadium to watch the match, right? So you can create a multi-index, okay? So set index, you generally, there will be one column which is index. Index is like primary key. Multi-index, you can have more than one column. So H, name and attendance both are like index here. Okay, then you can perform. Now this is a graph. This is your area graph. Okay, this is area graph, which talks about the number of matches that were played on that particular day of the week. Okay, so yeah, see, from 1870 to 1920, so 50 years data you have here. So let's say if this is 1870, in 1870, okay, these many percentage, if 100 matches were played, okay, then about 18 matches were played on Friday, then 18 to almost 20, right? This is 38, so 20 matches were played on Monday. If 100 matches, because we're talking about percentage, okay, of matches, 0 to 10, 0 to 1 means 100%. Okay, so if you see here, earlier in 1800s, very few matches, almost close to 0 matches were played on Sundays. But now in 1900, more matches are being played on Sundays, right? This is what this data tells you. So you can see, how many matches are being, which is the most popular week. So tell me, 1870, which was the most popular day of the week for matches, and in 1920, which is the most popular day of the week for matches. Okay, so maybe, if you look here, looks like orange, right? So maybe Monday was the most popular, right? and then it decreased in between somewhere, and then finally again it actually became important here. Or maybe green, which remains almost constant. In between there was more matches were played, but mostly Saturdays has more number of matches, right? So okay, so maybe it was Monday and Saturday, but now it is mostly Saturday, which where most of the matches are being played, right? So you can see this. So this is one such graph where you can say that, okay, which day most of the matches are being played. This is one graph you can copy for your IPL analysis as well to see which day is the most popular, right? Of course, I think for IPL, Saturday and Sunday will be the most popular. On those days, you have double matches, correct? And other days, you have only one matches.
Yeah.
This is your area graph, the scatter plot. Okay, so that's about your um, um, uh, pivot. Okay, we are going to generate pivot here, so you can see how to do that. Next, for next data analysis, we are using this online retail. Okay, so there's a repository called online retail. Okay, I can again take you back there. This is for data set, right? Now there's something called as online retail. There's another repository called online this is the repository, online retail, okay? And except Superstore, okay, offline and Superstore, all these data are related. Okay, all these data are related here. So, okay, this is about a company based in Portugal. That's where some of the data, not Portugal, sorry, Brazil. Okay, this talks about, company based in Brazil, and Brazil has official language Portuguese, right? So the data is in Portuguese, okay? Data is in Portuguese. So this talks about, order items, customers data, order payments, how the payments were made, how many orders were, order reviews, we will do that. If we have time today, we will do it, or we'll do it tomorrow. Order reviews, we will review the order reviews, right? Reviews like when you go back and put your review comments on Amazon, right? You buy a product and you want to give your feedback, right? So order reviews is about the feedback that you're giving. So you will give the rating first out of 5. So you can give rating 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, indicating how well you like the product. And then you will give header and then the body. Okay, so we have header and body. I'm going to show you this when we do that. Similarly, you have, other products. So this is about products data. This is about the sellers. Okay, so e-commerce online retailers will have different sellers, right? Sellers will go and upload their product on the websites, right? So this will have sellers information. All this information are there. Okay, now if I go back to the analysis that we are doing here, okay, so this is what we call Pareto analysis. So first analysis that we are doing here is Pareto analysis. So Pareto analysis was first, given by Wilfredo Pareto. Okay, what he said was, okay, and he talks, he's an economist, he's talked about income in Italy, that 80% of income in Italy went to 20% of the population, which is true, right? And I think this is true about any country, okay? And this is true about anything, in fact. So 80% of customer complaints come from 20% of your product. So okay, when you sell your product, some product will be really bad, some product will be really good, right? So product which are bad will give you more complaints from customers, correct? So only 20% of the products, will actually give you 80% of the headaches or the complaints. Okay. If you talk about delays in schedule, okay, so 80% of delays were because of just the 20%. 20% of your products and services account for 80% of your profit. 20% of your sales force produce 80% of company revenues. 20% of sales systems defects cause 80% of its problem. Okay, so this is general thing. This is about 80-20 rule, and we are going to use that in our analysis here. So again, as you would see, we are merging, okay, multiple CSV files. Okay, so we'll read CSV files or data frames and merge them basis of the requirement. So if you feel that two data sets are related and we need both of them to perform our analysis, okay, we will merge them. So what analysis are we performing? Okay, so this talks about product categories based on demand. Okay, so when we talk about demand, demand means we are not talking about the revenue, but we're talking about the count of the product. Okay, the products which are high in demand are one for which there is large number of customers. So if you talk about bed, bath, and table, they sold more than 1 lakh, maybe close to 8,000, 10,000, right? So this is 10,000. So maybe 12,000, maybe, okay, or 11,800, 900, 12,000. So 12,000 products were sold, right? So, okay, now this is a bar graph. This is not a histogram. Can you tell me why it is not a histogram? This is a bar graph. In histogram, you will have the
One sheet, like we have range in that
you have range
bar
in
graph,
that exactly. Okay,
and
and
here
you
we
have
have
range and
number
you
of,
have an order, right? Range will be in a given
yeah.
order. So let's say if I talk about 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, I cannot say 0 to 10 and 50 to 60 and then 90 to 100 and then 30 to 40. It has to be in the same range. But here these are different individual products. There is no range here. We're talking about different products. And if you're talking about products, it's my wish in whichever order I can put it. So I put it in a decreasing order because I want to know which are the top 20% product categories. Now, if we look at the top 20 product categories, if let's assume this is 60. So if there's a 60, then how much will be top 20%? 12. Is it not? So if this is 60, maybe it's 60 or 40, whatever. So let's say if it is 60, assume this is 60 categories, then top 20% would be 12 categories. So we are putting decreasing order. These are the categories. So count 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, somewhere here. Now, if you add all these, the sales of all these 12 categories, this should contribute to the total 80% of the products that are sold. It will be, look, you see, because most of these are contributing almost like 0 here, right? So not all products are very popular. One product will be very popular and so on, right? So you can actually see. So how do we prove that? So we are drawing this product, okay? And here we are drawing based on the sales, okay? So if I take this graph and put it on Paint, so I have put it on the Paint. Now you see here, 80% is where? Okay. Now, when you say 80%, it need not be exactly 80%. Okay? It can be 75 to 85%, right? So now let's say if it is 80% here, okay, draw a line, 80% line. Here, somewhere here. So what it says is, see, okay, this is like 80% of sales. Now, if you look at, okay, how many products we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Almost 16 products. So 16 products is contributing to 18%, 80% sales, right? And you see there's a large number of product here, which is not even contributing 20%,
20%, yeah.
right? So this happens with anything in your life. Life is, that's why we say life is about 80-20 rule. Okay, okay. Sometimes to get a 20% effort will give you 80% of the result, but the rest 20% of result will take you 80% of the effort, right? If you making cake, let's say for example, baking cake is easy, right? But then 20% of effort we can give you cake, but then if you want the cake to be soft, if you want cake to be nice, that will take 80% of effort, right? Okay, that's when you will get the perfect cake. So same thing with live. Okay, so this is what we are trying to show. So this graph again you can draw. So here what we're drawing a bar graph and we are drawing a line graph. This is line graph and bar graph both together in one graph. That is what we have pivot chart. When you draw a pivot chart is basically line graph and bar graph. So it has two axes, primary axis and secondary axis. You see this is your primary axis. This talks about revenue, sales. And you have secondary axis, which talks about percentage contribution. So this bar graph is based on the primary axis and line graph is based on the contribution. So line graph talks about the contribution. So this is like putting two graphs together as one graph. All right. Let's go back to our notes now. Any questions so far? Are you able to understand all this, right? We will
Yeah,
then build
I
all of
got
this.
it.
We have to build it, all of this. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So then this is another same graph, but see there are some products which does not have categories. Okay. So what we have done is we have added them as one category called other. Some product does not have data, does not have any category associated. So we added them all together. So first graph we ignored it. In second graph we added them as as others. All those without categories, products without categories, we added them as others, and they are almost like the largest contributor. Okay. Then second we discussed about, okay, we're talking about positively and negatively skewed graph. What is positively and negatively skewed graph? We discussed this before, right?
Yeah.
What is positively skewed and negatively skewed graph? Don't remember?
We have remembered the bell-shaped curve, like when
Like
its
the
tail
curve
is
will
more
be right side.
pronounced on the right side than
You
it's
have
on the
tail,
left.
okay? The graphs which are
Yeah.
not normal, and instead they'll have tail, correct? So if the
Tail.
tail is
Yeah.
on the positive
Right side.
side, we say positively skewed graph. So now to do that, what we have done, there's a column called as number of days that delivery days, okay? So what we did, we counted the delivery days. So this is from the date customer ordered a product to the date it was delivered. Okay. So we have taken and so this is not histogram. Okay. This is histogram. This is not bar graph. So we have taken here delivery days, like which are delivered within a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, so on to 30 days. And how many products were delivered within 1 day? So it may be about 15,000. How many products were delivered in 2 days? About 32,000.
1,000.
Or this is 3,000, right?
Okay.
Not tens. So maybe 3,200. This is like 1,500. This is 3,200. This is like 4,000. Maximum products were delivered in 7 days, which is almost like 7,500, right? And when you see this, obviously, this look, in such case, you want this to have a long tail, right? And then this side tail. You want most of the data product to be delivered in shorter number of days, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Than the longer number of days. Yes, some product maybe because of some error or something, it might take days, right? Let's say you're importing from China, it will take time. But most of the things should happen within 4 to 5 days. Okay. So or here in this case, 7 to 8 days, most of the products are getting delivered. So this is an example of this graph talks about positively skewed graph.
Positively skewed.
Yes. So you can see how the delivery days is performing. Okay, so again, this we are not going to do. We will do this one, NLP to present the data. We'll do a NLP analysis on the same data set. So I have chosen 3 examples. This is one NLP example, one web scraping. We will read a website to get the data, and we will do one more example. Okay, some example we'll pick and we'll do one more project. So 3 examples we'll do, which will help you to understand the visualization thing, how we do it. Okay. And